Tens of thousands of refugees from Western Sudan have been fleeing violence and bombings in their villages, desperately seeking safety in neighbouring Chad. Over 110,000 of them are scattered along a 600-kilometre stretch of the Chad-Sudan border. They live in makeshift shelters in unbearable conditions. 28-year-old Fatima lost her husband. He was killed in their village by militia.
بالليل ما بكلني كومدا والنهار ولا بكلني ايش ما يكلني نعمل نشيل ده ام قاعدين ندق كله ما بكلني كلنا هناك بس جينا في محل بس ويدين عملنا في جهد دخلنا كل ما شلنا افش هناينا كله كلنا كله حاجتنا.
She fled with her son and 4 daughters to Wandaloo in eastern Chad. Some people managed to grab a few belongings, others weren't so lucky and left with nothing. Wandaloo is only 200 metres away from a riverbed, which constitutes the natural frontier with Sudan, but it's too close. 41-year-old Ahmed Sheikh walked for 15 kilometres with his wives and 7 children before reaching the border. The region is isolated and conditions are harsh. They lack food and water and are struggling to survive. They urgently need to move away from this border area. Ahmed and his family are registering with the UN Refugee Agency. Together with the Chadian authorities and partner agencies, UNHCR is signing up thousands of newly arrived Sudanese refugees in Chad so they can be moved and receive much needed assistance.
La relocalisation est en fait la meilleure réponse que nous pouvons apporter aujourd'hui aux réfugiés qui se trouvent totalement isolés sur la frontière. La frontière aujourd'hui fait l'objet d'incursions. Les bandes armées continuent à attaquer les villages, y compris les réfugiés, dans les villages, y compris sur le territoire tchadien. Donc le seul moyen de protéger ces réfugiés, c'est de les éloigner de la frontière, raison pour laquelle les camps qui seront installés à une distance d'environ 50 km pourront représenter cette protection.
The UN Refugee Agency is facing major security and logistical difficulties in its efforts to help the new arrivals, and it's become a race against time to transfer them to safer areas further inland. The sick and elderly go by bus. Ahmed and his family have to travel by truck with their few belongings. They're making their way to the inland site of Farchana. 250 refugees are being moved every other day, enduring a 55-kilometre-long journey from the border with Western Sudan. That short distance can take them as long as 3 hours. All relocations have to be made by May, before the rainy season renders the sandy roads impassable to heavy trucks. Farchana was the first camp to be set up in eastern Chad. It will soon be followed by others further north and south. Ahmed's first step in Farchana is yet another registration, which will entitle his family to much-needed assistance from UNHCR and other agencies. It doesn't end there. Refugees also have to undergo a medical screening. The children are vaccinated against diseases such as measles. The family will get a 15-day ration of food and a basic relief package of mats, blankets, a kitchen set, mosquito nets, jerry cans and buckets. One of the main challenges in Farchana is providing adequate water to the refugees. Initially, it has to be trucked to the camp. For the UNHCR, this is just one of the practical difficulties.
Well, in terms of logistics, it's going to be a tricky exercise. So we've started by moving the camps or the sites where the refugees were closest to the border. The idea is to increase the number of convoys, so increase the number of refugees which we will transfer. Obviously, it's going to be very difficult to move 95,000 refugees in a short period of time. So we'll start by the locations where refugees are most exposed to incursions from Sudan.
Once Farchana is fully expanded, it will accommodate 12,000 refugees. This simple tent has become the Ahmed family's safe haven.
وبعد ذاك عيالنا كله هنا يخشوا التعليم إن شاء الله.